In the middle of the story of Joseph. After he was abandoned and sold by his brothers and before he was bought in Egypt, an independent unit appears in the form of the story of Judah and Tamar in Genesis 38. This is the tragic story of Tamar. Some say she is evil, while others think she is a hero. Our story begins after Judah married a woman from whom he had 3 sons. 2 of his sons married the same woman in succession, but unfortunately, they both passed away. Several years passed, and Judah met the same woman again. From this meeting, the twins Peretz and Zerach were born. In contrast to the cautious fathers who avoided marrying Canaanite daughters, Judah made the choice to marry a Canaanite wife. He had sons with a daughter of a Canaanite man named Shua. He calls the first son Er, the second son he calls Onan, and the third son he calls by his own name. The eldest son, Er, had a wife named Tamar. Er passed away, but why did he die and what happened? He is seen as doing evil in the eyes of God. Judah offers Onan, his second son, the opportunity to marry his brother's widow. According to Deuteronomy 25, if a woman marries and her husband dies without having any children, she is required to marry her deceased husband's brother in order to continue his lineage and raise up offspring for him. The newborn son from these marriages will be considered the child of the deceased. During the distribution of the property, he will inherit in place of the deceased. The first son she bears shall carry on the name of the dead brother so that his name will not be blotted out from Israel. Deuteronomy 25 verse 6. Such will be the case with Judah. Peretz and Zerach will come instead of Er and Onan. Outwardly, Onan keeps his father's words, but he scolds his sister-in-law. Then Judah said to Onan, "Sleep with your brother's wife and fulfill your duty to her as a brother-in-law to raise up offspring for your brother." Genesis 38 verse 8. Upon hearing Judah's words, "Raise up offspring for your brother," Onan realized that the child to be born would belong to his brother and not to him. Despite not agreeing, he proceeded to do what he felt was necessary. That's why he also passed away, but there is a distinction between the deaths of the 2 brothers. What he did was wicked in the Lord's sight, so the Lord put him to death also. Genesis 38 verse 10. Both of them had done badly in the eyes of God, but it was specifically mentioned that Onan's actions were disapproved of by saying, "what he did." The meaning is that he did something wrong, and the scripture bears witness to that. Now it was the turn of the third son, Shelah, to support the widow. The family relations between Judah and Tamar remain unchanged. She continues to be his daughter-in-law, and he remains her father-in-law. This signifies that the connection between the woman and her husband's family remains intact and unbroken. However, out of fear that his third son will also die, Judah refuses to match her with him. There is a sense of guilt and a destructive element that seems to affect anyone who comes into contact with her. It turns out that Tamar remained silent and did not reveal her secret to Judah. Judah then said to his daughter-in-law Tamar, "Live as a widow in your father's household until my son Shelah grows up." Genesis 38 verse 11. What was his intention? According Bible commentator, Judah rejected her with disdain. Judah wanted to sever contact with her and sent her back to her family. Marrying her while he is young can be dangerous, especially considering Judah heard about how his young sons behaved towards her. When she grows up, hopefully he will behave differently than his brother, and then she will marry someone else. He did not, therefore, give up on the family connection with you. That's why he was so horrified when he learned of his daughter-in-law's behavior. In order to prevent any contact between them, he sent her away from his house. After some time, Judah's wife passed away. So far, everything has been acceptable. Onan, Shelah, and Shoa's daughter are marginal characters. They serve primarily as a background for understanding Tamar's character. From that point on, Tamar takes center stage and begins to take action. Judah found comfort in seeking to marry a wife, but Tamar did not. She continues to wear her widow's clothes. Tamar keeps up with the happenings in the house of Judah, and she finds that Judah is heading to Timnah to take part in the gas holiday. This sparks a bold plan in her mind. She won't let her mother dictate her actions. Instead, she will stand up against Judah's will, asserting her own independence. She pretends to be a prostitute. She bravely risks her honor, knowing that others may harm her, and she courageously risks her life if her plan fails. In order to avoid being recognized by Judah, she covers herself with a scarf. Then Judah fell into the trap. Not realizing that she was his daughter-in-law, he went over to her by the roadside and said, "Come now, let me sleep with you." "And what will you give me to sleep with you?" she asked. Genesis 38 verse 16. He is unable to afford the services of a prostitute, which indicates that he did not anticipate encountering such a woman. Tamar asked Judah for a pledge, and, after his asking what to give her, she replied, "Your seal and cord, and the staff which you carry." The value of the guarantee far exceeded the value of the goat that Judah wanted to give her. However, he still agreed to her offer, which shows the intensity of his desire. Furthermore, he believed that he would soon reach Timnah, from where he could send the he promised. After all, he was a skilled herdsman. Tamar has no intention of using the guarantee, but she is secretly planning a deceptive scheme to deceive Judah. Judah fulfills his promise when he arrives in Timnah. He entrusts the into the hands of his friend and confidant, a Dulamite, in order to get his pledge back from the woman, but he did not find her. Judah wisely responded, "Let us not overcomplicate our inquiries, or we risk becoming a source of amusement. I sent it, and you searched, and it's not our fault if we didn't find it. It has been about 3 months, and Judah is being informed." About 3 months later, Judah was told, "Your daughter-in-law Tamar is guilty of prostitution, and as a result she is now pregnant." Judah said, "Bring her out and have her burned to death." Genesis 38 verse 24. Here are two pieces of news, one more difficult than the other. She is involved in prostitution, and she is pregnant. Her pregnancy was a source of astonishment. Tamar was regarded as Shelah's fiancée. Otherwise, it would be hard to understand why they specifically brought this sensational news to Judah, referring to her as daughter-in-law. Tamar's actions were perceived as an insult to his family's honor, which led him to make a severe judgment. He sentenced her to the punishment of burning. The story reaches its dramatic climax just before she bursts into flames. Tamar stands amidst the gathering crowd at the gate of Adullam. With the guarantee in her hands, she confidently walks towards the fire. Tamar hands the guarantee to someone in the crowd and kindly asks him to deliver it to Judah. "I am pregnant by the man who owns these," she said. And she added, "See if you recognize whose seal and cord and staff these are." Genesis 38 verse 25. Judah is currently facing a serious conflict. and his response could potentially make him appear foolish in the eyes of the large crowd. It is ironic that he condemns them as criminals while he himself is the one acting criminally. If he deny it, it would be a serious miscarriage of justice. After careful thought and contemplation, Judah did not answer immediately. His response was, "She is more righteous than I. Justice did not dishonor the family, not with me but with her." He didn't know who she was, but she knew who he was. Despite this, she still did what she did. The Bible author interrupted the story. We are now in the 3rd month of her pregnancy, and the next news the author will share with us will be about the time of birth. Why did he abruptly end his description at the most dramatic moment? Rather than a criminal, she is a brave and heroic woman who risked her life. By a miracle, she was saved from a horrible death. According to the perception of the people of Adullam, she did not sin at all. According to the accepted Canaanite law, the father-in-law has the authority to be with the widow if his sons fail to fulfill their duty. However, Judah chose to follow his own set of rules. The author chose not to reveal his opinion about Tamar, neither positive nor negative. But another author discovered it in the book of Ruth. There are multiple points of contact between Tamar and Judah, as well as between Naomi and Ruth. In both events, there are 4 participants: Elimelech, Naomi, Mahlon, and Chilion. Of the 4 of them, 1 remained, Naomi. Here, among the 4 individuals, Judah, his wife, and Onan, only Judah remains. In Adullam and Moab, 2 foreign women emerge who intertwine their destinies with the families they marry into. One says, "Your people will be my people and your God my God." Ruth 1 verse 16. In the second instance, Tamar came up with the phrase, "Your God is my God," since she couldn't say, "Your people will be my people," as the nation did not yet exist. She tied her fate forever with this family, despite the improper behavior of her husband. There is no problem in satisfying the mother's feelings here. She can achieve this through other legal means without risking her life. Tamar is not only the first foreigner but also the first to be annexed to the dynasty of Israel. In this regard, she preceded Ruth. The author of the book of Ruth places them both on the same line, effectively conveying his message. Through the offspring the Lord gives you by this young woman, may your family be like that of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah. Ruth 4 verse 12. Tamar serves as an ideal example, against which the people of Bethlehem compare Ruth the Moabite. Here the author expresses his opinion about Tamar, which his predecessor did not. Tamar and Ruth are 2 remarkable women who are part of a straight chain that leads to King David. Among the words we read, there is a rebuke to Judah and praise to Tamar. The same joy that filled Bethlehem and the same blessings that were spoken there, may God bless this woman. They were heard in their day as well. Why doesn't the author delight in sharing the joy of Tamar with us? Why did he choose to condemn himself to silence? The answer is that she cheated and achieved her goal by incompetent means. Although her goal was holiness, the methods she used were not in line with the procedures of qualification, and therefore do not bring holiness to her attainment. Tamar, Peretz and Zerah were blessed with the birth of their sons who belonged to the Judah dynasty. We hope you learned something new today. If you did, give this video a like and share it with your friends. You can share with us what you know by leaving a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative and entertaining content. Thank you so much and see you next time.